Now, I have a really weird relationship with the self-development books. Even though I absolutely attribute 50% of all my financial successes to them, I often find myself wasting too much time reading them. Just because in my opinion, most of the business books are really stretched out and the real value is only 15 to 20 pages, but in order to find them, you really have to spend a few days reading about 300 pages of that book. However, today we're going to talk about books that are 100% pure value and that have fundamentally changed the way I think, the way I function on a daily basis for the better. They are indirectly responsible for my successes in many areas of my life, but particularly in my business. Now, my name is Vlad and it's so good to see you here. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button, give this video a like, and hit the notification bell, and let's just jump straight into the video. Now, so one of the first books that I have here is the Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in fact, this is the only hard copy that I have. I don't really read hard copies as much as I would like to. I read things on my iPad just because I travel a lot and it's way easier for me. And let me start it this way. Now, if you ever walk into Warren Buffett's office, the first thing you're gonna see there is the certificate from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People training program, right? It's Warren Buffett's proudest achievement. It changed the life of a $100 billion man. So why wouldn't it change yours? Now, I always said on this channel that your network is your net worth, right? And the key principle behind networking is knowing how to build genuine friendships, genuine relationship with people, right? Because otherwise, if you just call a 9-figure CEO and ask them for your help, they're just simply not gonna help you, right? They won't care unless you have that genuine relationship built with them. And this is where this book comes in really, really handy, right? It really teaches the fundamental principle of building great relationship with people, or just how to be liked by people, how to communicate effectively, and how to make people like you, or just simply how to be friendlier with people, how to be friendlier with your neighbor, or how to make the girl that you're going out on a date with like you, or how to make your father-in-law like you. And so some of my favorite tips from this book is, for example, the most beautiful sound to any person in any language is their name, right? So whenever you're going out to a networking event, or you network with people, or you meet somebody new, make sure to do whatever it takes to write down or remember that person's name. Because if you ever see them again, a few weeks later, and you'd be like, hey Jim, how's it going, right? They're going to be really, really impressed by the fact that you just managed to remember their name. Or it also teaches that, being a great listener and always letting the other person talk is way more effective than just, bragging about how tough your life is, or some of the other problems. Or for example, it's always good to talk in terms of other people's interests, and a lot of great tips like that. So I 100% recommend everybody goes out there and grabs a copy. Now, so the second book is something that has allowed me to increase my productivity dramatically, and it's called The Deep Work by Cal Newport, right? A Georgetown University professor. And he talks about different hacks that we all know, but just nobody realizes how to increase your productivity dramatically, right? He talks about the two types of work that people do on a daily basis, these days. And that is the deep work and the shallow work, right? The shallow work is something, imagine you're studying for a class or you're learning how to code, right? And in another tab in your browser, you have Facebook open, and then you're talking to your friends simultaneously. YouTube is playing and you're probably listening to music, right? This is the shallow work, right? You're not being concentrated, and it's something that doesn't really produce that much value. However, for the things that are actually most important in our lives, we should do the deep work, right? Creating a distraction-free space that will push our cognitive capabilities to the limit. And this is actually something that can produce a lot of valuable outcomes. So make it a habit to do deep work every single day, right? Let's say you start with the 2 hours, because if you've never done deep work, it's going to be harder for you to concentrate on a single task for longer periods of time. So start with the 2 hours and then gradually increase the amount of deep work that you do on a daily basis. And so during those 2 hours, literally get rid of everything, right? Get rid of your phone, get rid of your Facebook, get rid of your email, Instagram. And now I know we're all addicted to email. I know we're all addicted to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, but just schedule these times, schedule the certain times in the evening or every morning, right? Where you would just go and really scroll through your Instagram or scroll through your Facebook, and then just try not to use your social media during the deep work, or try not to use any of the other things that distract you during the state of deep work. Now, so for example, let's say you're learning how to code, and it's really something that requires a lot of concentration, the full concentration for a long period of time. And this is only the thing that will produce a great result in the future. And only full concentration for long periods of time is something that can create actual value and will bring you a lot of benefits in the future. And now it's not just about working, but actually allowing yourself to relax is something that will increase your ability to do deep work, right? So work hard, but also relax hard. And so the next book that I really liked is called The Influence Psychology of Persuasion. Now it's another book on, how to persuade people, how to influence people and get them to say yes. Now it's especially very, very useful in business because business is ultimately about selling your own product and convincing people to buy your product, but it's also applicable to many other areas of your life, such as relationship or dating or networking and many other things. And it really focuses on the 6 main tips how to influence people and how to convince people and persuade them. And it's reciprocation, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. So if you learn how to apply those tips correctly in your daily lives, you're gonna see dramatic changes in your business, but also in every other area of your life. And so the 4th book that we have here is probably the most fundamental books in my life. I know a lot of people don't like it and it's quite controversial. It's called The Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, I've read dozens of books on personal finance and how to build wealth, but Robert Kiyosaki would probably be on top of my charts. And it really teaches you how to use your money properly, right? So instead of buying liabilities like a lot of people do whenever they get a paycheck, they just go out there, buy a new TV, buy a new car, buy a new house, a new smartphone, right? Things that take money out of your pocket, right? You should focus on building your assets, right? Buying assets, things that would actually bring money into your life, bring money into your pocket, bring cash flow. Things such as real estate, stocks. Well, stocks, something Robert Kiyosaki doesn't like, but nevertheless, it's an asset, right? Things that, you can hold for extended periods of time and, get cash flow via, your tenants paying your rent or your stocks paying your dividends. And only then you should go out there and spend that cash flow on liabilities, right? It's very, very contrary to what a lot of people do these days, which is just going out there and blowing all their money on, something nice. And so The Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the story of 2 most important people in Robert Kiyosaki's life, right? One was his real dad, who was the head of education in the state of Hawaii, probably making even 6 figures, right? But he never talked about money. He was scared to talk about money. He was poor. And then the second person was his best friend's dad, right? Who was a multimillionaire, one of the richest people in the state of Hawaii, and who really taught him a lot on financial education. And you really see, that the rich dad had a totally different perspective of the world. It really shows the mindset of, poor people and rich people and how they think and what they do with their money. So there's a lot to learn from this book. If you don't have time to go and read it, just watch Robert Kiyosaki's 1-hour-long video on YouTube where he talks about this book, and it's really, really amazing. And so the last book that I want to talk about here is, probably one of the first books I ever read. It was like 10-something years ago, and it's called Made in America by Sam Walton. And if you don't know who Sam Walton is, he's the founder of Walmart, right? One of the richest people ever alive. And so I know a lot of people like reading, Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week or The Tools of Titans. And now I don't have anything against those books. Those are actually really, really great books that I absolutely love. And Tim Ferriss is a great guy, but Tim Ferriss is not a billionaire. And Sam Walton was literally one of the richest person ever alive. Unfortunately, he's dead now. But the 3 of his kids are actually altogether worth $200 billion, right? All of them are in the top 10 Forbes. And so the book is really just a story of Sam's life. It really shows all the traits that we've discussed previously, how important it is to be nice to people and build genuine, friendly relationship with them. And so despite being a multi-billionaire, right, Sam Walton was actually a really, really simple guy. He really valued what he had, and he was kind of a frugal guy, which is really nice. And he always had the passion for knowledge, which is one of the most important things in anybody's life. So Sam Walton was really notorious for learning from everybody he encountered, right? And there's actually one story that is really cool. There's this one time where Sam went to Brazil and he went to the supermarket and he was literally crawling on his knees across the aisles, trying to measure the length between the aisles. And he actually ended up in jail for that. And when his managers, his CEOs came to rescue Sam Walton, they're like, wow, Sam, what did you do that you ended up in jail? And he was like, I was just trying to measure the length between the aisles in a supermarket, because what if these Brazilians knew something that I don't know, right? What if they have the tiny bit of knowledge, something that I could incorporate in Walmart, right? Something that I could learn. And so there's really a lot of traits and a lot of tips that everybody could incorporate in their life. So it's totally an amazing book. And so I totally recommend go ahead, grab a copy and read it. So thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have some great book recommendations, I would really love to hear them. Leave them in the comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button and the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.